Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Well, Happy New Year! It's so exciting to be starting 2019, and we're going to be starting 2019 with one of my new passport kits. Now, in December, I introduced to you my digital passport kits by sharing with you an angel kit as well as a Santa kit. And this year, I'm going to be releasing a digital passport kit every month for you. Now, sometimes I'm going to be releasing two kits because we might have some holidays in there, just like Valentine's Day. But typically, it'll be one kit a month, and it will be around the first of the month. So this month, in honor of New Year's, I created a wine passport card, and it has a lot of really fun ephemera. Now, if you've created the Angel and the Santa passport card, you probably are an old pro at putting these passport cards together. But for you new watchers, I want to go ahead and walk you through my process of putting together this passport kit. Now, keep in mind, all the images that you get are enough to create a passport card, but keep in mind, you don't have to only just create a passport card. You can use some of these digital images for just regular cards as well. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing with you some pictures of a card that I created using this set as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So every kit comes with 3 pages. 2 of the pages typically are for the base of your card, and then you're going to get one 8.5 by 11 sheet which has ephemera. And the ephemera you can stick in the little pockets, or you can use them to decorate your passport card. So after you cut out all your paper, you're going to want to take the smaller piece of cardstock, and you're going to want to score it at your 1/2 inch mark, and then you're going to want to score it over. And this is going to be your second page to your passport card. Now for the bigger piece, it's going to measure probably about 7 inches, maybe a little bit less, but you're going to want to score this at the 2 3/4 mark. Now keep in mind, when you are scoring this, you want to score it with the image side down, because you want to make sure that when you fold it, you have the right part of your image. And then after you're finished scoring that line with your image face down, you're going to want to pivot your cardstock to the right. And this is so you can score the horizontal line. And you're going to score this at the 3.5 mark. And you only want to score it to the other score line that you had just finished scoring. So once you have that scored, you're going to want to take your scissors and you're going to want to cut that piece off. And then after you have that piece cut off, that's going to create the first page of your passport card. And as you can see, it's perfectly scored so that the wine on the front of the page shows perfectly. Now, I like to round my corners, but when I'm rounding my corners, I only round the outer edges. And what I mean by that is I'm not rounding the corner to the left bottom edge where my card folds. And that is where your image is. So keep in mind, when you are rounding your corners, don't get too carried away and round the outer edge where your flap goes together. And then once you finish rounding your corners, you should have pretty much the base of your card. Now, as you can see, this passport card has some white pages, and that's because obviously it's not a double-sided cardstock. Now, if you want to have double-sided cardstock, I suppose you could easily print both sides, but for my purposes, I created an extra piece for you so you can actually layer it. And this way you can have different types of passport cards. Maybe for your first passport card, you want your back page to have the stripes. And then maybe for a second one that you create, you want it to have the florals. This is your card, so you can create it however you want. Maybe you have some matching cardstock in your own stash that you want to use to cover the white up. There's lots of varieties that you can create with this kit. And don't be afraid to mix and match some of your own stash as well. Now, when I'm cutting my cardstock, I'm typically eyeballing it. But you're going to want to make sure when you are cutting your cardstock that you leave a little bit of an edge. And this is really important, especially for the last page, because when you close your book, you want to make sure that you don't put the paper cardstock too close to the edge so your card won't close. So you just want to leave a little bit of an edge when you are cutting your cardstock to cover up your white portions of your card. Now, ordinarily, when I'm creating the pocket for my passport card, I create the pocket on the last page, and that's my bigger page. But I have also created passport cards where I have the pocket on the middle page. It's entirely up to you the way that you want to work it. But for this demonstration, I am putting together the pocket to fit on the back page. Now, adhesive is really important, and I like to use that red line adhesive because that sucker is strong. But you have to be really careful because once you put that adhesive to your paper, there's no taking it off. And if you do make a mistake, you're going to end up tearing your cardstock. So just be mindful of that. I've torn many cardstocks, so if you do this, it's not the end of the world. You can easily print out another page. But just be careful that when you do actually go and you commit to taping down your cardstock, that you have it exactly where you want it. Now, the red line tape is, like I said, really strong, and I like to use it for the pocket as well as for the second page because that's going to get the most use in opening and closing, and you're going to be sticking your ephemera inside of the pocket, so you want to make sure that that little pocket isn't going to come off. But if you don't have red line tape, you can always use another type of adhesive. Just make sure that it's really strong. Now, a little tip that I have to help keep your pocket in place is to use washi tape. Now, you can get some decorative washi tape and you can add it to the top edge of your pocket and then wrap it around the back. And that will help also secure your pocket so that way it will stay in place. Now, for this pocket, I am using the floral paper cardstock. But for another passport card that I created, I actually used that wine ticket that you see on the left side of the screen as my pocket instead of using the floral. And that ticket is the perfect size for a pocket. So like I said, you want to be creative. You don't necessarily have to do the design exactly how I'm doing it in this video. You can easily use some of the other ephemera to decorate or create your pockets. And like I said, that ticket that says gratis was perfect for a pocket. So that might be an idea as well. All right, so once I have my piece of cardstock in place for my pocket, then again, I'm going to round the corners, but I'm not going to round the bottom left side corner because that's going to be the part that goes up against the crease. Now, before you adhere this piece of paper down to the back page of your passport card, you're going to want to add your second page. And this, of course, is the page that has the grapes on the top. And you had scored it at 1/2 inch. So you're going to want to add some adhesive to that score fold, which was 1/2 inch. And you're going to want to put it up against the middle of your cardstock. But enough where it will still fold closed, so keep that in mind. And then you're going to want to go ahead and adhere that second page. And then once you have the second page adhered, then it's time to add your pocket page. And this will help cover that score line where you had added your second page. Okay, so once your card is put together, I like to take some walnut stain distress ink, and I like to add the distress ink along the edges. And this just helps to get rid of some of the white that might be showing from your cut lines. So again, I use walnut stain, but you can easily use vintage photo. And if you don't have any of the distress inks, I suppose you could probably use just some brown ink. Just something to take away that white edge. And then again, I wanted to cover the white part of the first page. So I went ahead and I got some of my cardstock and I just kind of eyeballed it. I put the paper up against the page, and then I marked it with some pencil, and then I trimmed it down. And remember, you want to trim it down just slightly smaller than the page, so that way when you do add your cardstock, you have a little bit of a white edge, and you also have room to make sure that your card will close. And then once again, once I have my paper cardstock cut, then I'm going to go ahead and take my corner rounder and I'm going to round my edges. Now, at this point, you're going to want to decide on something for the front of your card. Now, I designed the kit so the wine will show along with the bucket, so you don't have to add a image on the front, but you could add an image if you wanted to. That's entirely up to you. But for my cards, I just left the picture of the wine in the bucket showing. I didn't want to cover it up because I thought it was really pretty. And I really like the way that when you open the back of the card and you have it flat, it's just one nice image. It just looks really pretty. So keep in mind, if you want to add an image, you still have a little bit of room on that purple, so you can easily add an image there, and it won't completely cover up the wine bottle and the bucket. But that's just something you're going to want to think about when you're putting your design together. All right, so once your card pages have the cardstock and you have it exactly like you want it, now it's time to add the fun ephemera. And this is my favorite part. I love working with ephemera, and I love adding my little tucks and my little pieces of journal note cards to my card. This is what turns the card into a passport book. Now, remember, this is a card, so you want to make sure that you do include a journal card so you can write a little note to somebody that you may be giving this card to. And your journal card doesn't necessarily have to be adhered to the pages. You could have it loose. Now, in some of my books, like I said, I put some of my ephemera and even my journal card inside the pocket. But I also create little tucks on the passport book where you can easily stick the ephemera under a tuck. And that way, the person that's getting the card has some fun little images to pull out when they're opening up their card. There's nothing more fun than opening up a card and having all these little pieces of ephemera and pictures that you can look at. It really adds the uniqueness to these passport cards, and I think the recipients really will get a kick out of it. Now remember, the pocket can also be used for a gift card, so these little passport cards are perfect for birthdays, for anniversaries, any type of celebration where maybe you want to give a gift card because these little pockets work great for that. I've also used little paper clips that I got from the Idea-ology Tim Holtz collection to add some of my ephemera, and having a little paper clip on your card is really cute as well. I do have it on one of my cards where I used a little paper clip and I added the wine ticket to the second page, and it just looks really cute when you open it up. Now those tickets can work for a couple of ways. It can work as little tucks, and then they can also work as your labels. On this particular one here, you can see where I created the label, and I used it not only for a label, but I also used it to tuck some ephemera under. And then for my wine journal card, instead of actually adhering it to the second page, I decided again to create a little tuck at the bottom, and then I was just able to easily put my little journal note card in the tuck. And this way it makes it easy because you can always pull out that little journal card, write your little note, and then you can stick it right back in the tuck. Okay, so as a reminder, I am going to have these kits in my shop, so you can easily head over to my Etsy shop and pick up one of these kits. And if you didn't pick up the Angel or the Santa kit, those are still also available in my shop. I am going to have a release, like I said, every month with some of these cute little passport cards. So hopefully you'll be able to come back each month and look forward to a new kit. And remember, these kits not only are great for passport cards, but they're also great to create just cards themselves. So use your imagination with these kits and have some fun. So I will leave a list of all the products that I've used along with the links to the stores, and I will have the link to my store with these passport kits. Now, one thing that I did new this year is I did get a design team to help me create some of my inspiration. So I will also leave a link to my blog so you can head over there and see some of the other ideas that my design team used in creating with this kit. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time. Happy New Year.